If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
Yeah, Antonio Brown was coming at the Buccaneers irrespective of Chris Godwin. Like, make no mistake, like, he was coming back. And you could say it's because of need now, but it's really not. He provides that same need even with Chris Godwin on the roster and fully healthy. What AB can do is play extremely good football. He can create with routes. You put him in man coverage, nobody's going to be able to lock up on him. He is an elite route runner, and he's a finisher. And that's what Tampa Bay needs.
Tom, forget the circumstances surrounding it. How excited are you for Antonio Brown, the football player, to be able to return and be back out on the field after the heel injury and after his suspension?
Well, I think anytime you can get, players back, whether it's from injury or in Antonio's situation, missing, the last 7 or 8 weeks, hopefully it can add to our margin of error. He's obviously a terrific player. So there's a lot to get up to speed on with everybody. There's some new guys that are back. We got some guys returning from injury. We lost a few, obviously, to injury this last game. So how that kind of shakes out the puzzle pieces with the roster and who's playing, it's going to take all week to figure out because there's a lot of moving parts right now. As is with most teams in the NFL, we're not the only team that deals with injuries and people coming off different lists and so forth. If you look at all the crazy COVID lists right now, there's a lot of these teams that are playing tonight and tomorrow night that, they're still trying to figure it out. So everyone's got some unique challenges right now. Chris got hit, in the knees yesterday, which is a play that I think they ought to take out of the game of football from a receiver standpoint. And, I've kind of talked to the PA about it for a while about, and I'd like to speak to the rules competition committee at some point this offseason I've seen that hit too many times where a defenseless pass catcher is in the process of catching a ball, then he's hit by the defender. And, a lot of the defenders will say, well, we can't hit him in the head anymore. Well, the point is you can't hit anyone in the head anymore, and you can't hit anyone in the knees anymore, except for receivers, because you can still hit them in the knees, which doesn't make any sense to me. You can't hit a defensive lineman in the knees. You can't hit a punter in the knees. You can't hit a quarterback in the knees. You can't hit a DB in the knees, except we're somehow allowing, hits on defenseless receivers in the knees. So, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be really thought out. And, hopefully it really impacts guys' careers. And Chris, I know he'll overcome it. It's a tough rehab, but, you tear your ACL, that's a lifelong injury, and I'm sure almost every pass catcher in the NFL would prefer hit to the head over a hit to the knees. I certainly would. I'd take that, a million out of a million.
And that's what Larry Fitzgerald says to us later on in his segment. We taped it just a few moments ago. He used to say to guys, I'll pay the fine. Hit me in the head. Don't take my livelihood.
That's pretty much how it feels, because, and I've seen this hit a lot of times, and it's not a cheap hit because they're allowed to do it. I think what it needs to have is there needs to be a rule that forbids it, and therefore people understand the vulnerability of a pass catcher in the act of receiving the ball and being hit in a vulnerable position and having his entire career compromised, because that should not be allowed in the NFL. That should not be allowed in the NFL. Everybody else in the entire league is protected except receivers catching the ball. So that makes zero sense to me. And hopefully when they make the change, we can go back to a much cleaner style of football where if you're running with the ball, no problem. Tackle me wherever you want to tackle with me. If you're got the ball and you're holding the ball, that's just the way it is. But if you're in the act of receiving the pass, I think that rule needs to be, that particular rule needs to be changed.
It's amazing, man. Tom said basically everything that I said the other day, and my whole thing was protect your brother. You know what I'm saying? Protect your brother. You got to understand, I like P.J. Williams. I like P.J. Williams. When I called him out, it wasn't because the hit was necessarily dirty, okay? It was a clean hit by NFL standards. But to me, it was a dirty hit because P.J. Williams, he's a very smart guy. He's played all the positions in the secondary. He's a very versatile guy, so he's a very smart guy. When he hit Godwin on the knees, he immediately got up and celebrated. He wanted to hit him at his knees. And all I'm saying is, look, man, we're all trying to make a living. Why would you hit him up there? You ask any player in any sport, female, male, in any sport, would you rather get hit in the knee or would you rather get hit in the shoulder? They're going to, 100 out of 100 times, they're going to say, hit me up in the upper body, because now I have a chance to get up and walk away. I get a chance to get up and literally walk away. But when you go at somebody's knees, and Tom is 100% spot on, you don't go at their knees because we are brothers. I can't take away your opportunity to make millions and millions of dollars. Now, check this out. Chris Godwin signed a 1-year, $15 million deal. 1-year, $15 million deal. He could have gone many other places, got $50, $60 million or $40 million guaranteed and secured the bag. He sacrificed for that situation. And now all of a sudden, what team is going to go and pay Chris Godwin 4 years, $60 million and guarantee $40 million? Because he's coming off an ACL injury. So what he's got to do, he's got to sign another 1-year deal, go through an entire season, 17 weeks, 18 weeks, plus playoffs, and see if he can stay healthy to go get his money.
Something that stood out from what Tom said was that receiver is the only position that we let hits like this occur to. That resonated with me, right? You can't do it to a quarterback. That's completely out of the game. You can't do it to a defensive lineman. That's completely out of the game. You can't do it to an offensive lineman. That's completely out of the game. So you can't do it to anybody else. Now, how the hell are you going to look at me and say that a receiver can't do it to a kicker after a kick? How the hell are you going to look at me and say that a receiver who's catching the ball with his head turned, running full speed, and getting hit from a place that he doesn't even know is coming, that could be a legal hit? It just makes no sense.
Yesterday, Tom Brady was named to his 15th Pro Bowl. His 15th nod helped him break the record for most selections ever, and you can see why he got the honor this year, as he leads the league in both passing touchdowns and yards. So, Shannon, 15 Pro Bowls, it is a ton. We have to admit that. How difficult will it be to break this record?
It's going to be very, very difficult. It's quite a feat. It's a huge honor, an accomplishment to go to that many times, because they're saying you're one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the conference. It's a huge credit to Tom, because as we start to get older, Skip, it's harder to ward off those injuries, and he's done a great job. But this is very deserving. This is not a lifetime achievement award where they just says, okay, Tom is in his 22nd year, he might not come back, just vote him in. No, he deserved to be there, and it's quite an accomplishment, and kudos. Having gone to the Pro Bowl a number of times, and sometimes you think you probably should go and you don't go, but Tom was very, very deserving of this.
At 44, if you make the Pro Bowl, you make the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
You have to actually do that, because they're not going to just shoo you in because you're 44 years of age.
You might get, Skip, that, like we've seen that in hockey, we've seen that in baseball, where Cal Ripken, they put Cal in there and then they let him start. But they don't do that in football, bro.
Nope,
you get what you earn.
So just for the record, Tom Brady has not made a Pro Bowl since 2018. Last year, his first year in Tampa, he threw 40 touchdown passes, the franchise record, to 12 interceptions. They went 11-5. He did not make the Pro Bowl, which I actually think motivated him to go win Super Bowl MVP.
Tom, did that lead to some of the frustration, not only with the score of the game, but what happened last night? He threw the tablet at the end of the game, and I guess it's okay to break a tablet. They can replace that. But was that part of the frustration, all of the injuries?
I was pretty – well, injuries are a totally separate emotion, obviously. I think I was pretty pissed. I broke a tablet. I threw it. I didn't want to throw an interception with that tablet, so I made sure I'd hit the ground. So it was out of use. There was no chance of that one being used after I got a hold of that tablet.
Tommy also went over into the bench area of the Saints and had a conversation. What were you screaming at them?
We were just exchanging pleasantries. It was a nice night in Tampa, so we were just wonderfully in the heat of the moment expressing, I wouldn't say pleasantries, but we were very competitive in that moment. It was emotional, so it's just football players being football players.
Saints seem to have your number. What's going on? You're 0-4 as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You did beat them in the playoffs, but what's with this group having your number? I mean, they've done very well against you.
They've done well against me. They've done well against everybody. We got a lot of good players. They're really well coached. They're a terrific defense, and they play us really well. And they're called the Saints. I don't think they're very saintly, so a Saint would have probably let us score once or twice yesterday, so got to rethink of that nickname.
You now go forward, and you can still win the division, and you still have all your big games in front of you. Home field advantage may be gone, but you went on the road last year and made it to the Super Bowl. I know that's way ahead of yourselves, but at this point in the season, what do you concentrate on now so you get everybody's mindset out of what just happened?
I think it's back to the fundamentals and basics of how to win and lose games. So we had 2 turnovers yesterday, had a fumble, an interception. Defense played great. It's a dogfight. It's the NFL. These teams are good. There's a lot of challenge to, winning on a consecutive basis. And, we had 4 good weeks there and then, played a team that plays us well, and we didn't play our best and still had a chance in the fourth quarter to take the lead. We just didn't make many plays. So we all got to go out there and do a better job. There's no simple way about it. There's no easy path to winning and losing. There's an easy path to losing. There's not an easy path to winning. We just got to go play better. And that's basically goes for every team in the NFL. If you don't play well, you're basically going to lose. I don't think any team, especially this year, is so much ahead of everyone else in every phase of the game that you can basically roll your helmet out there. So it's going to be a dogfight. These games week in and week out are all tough. You watch them yesterday. Arizona loses to Detroit. Not a lot of people would have expected that. If you don't play good, you lose. That's just the way it goes.
Shut out for the first time in 255 games. That streak now ends. You going to try and set that streak again? I guess if you did, you'd be playing till 60.
That would be a long time. Even for me, that's a long time. So there's zero chance of that happening. I'm having a great time playing. I know it didn't look like I snapped that tablet and have it yesterday, but 60 years old, man, I'm going to be long gone by then. I'll be sipping margaritas in Costa Rica with my wife at that point.
But here's the point about this record of 15. It's getting close to unbreakable now, but I don't think he's finished yet.
Right.
Do I think he could make 1 or 2 more? I do. Yeah. I think he could. Yeah. Weapons notwithstanding, you have to have some weapons around you. Your health has to continue to be fairly high, especially with your weaponry.
Right.
Okay, so could he make 2 more? Could he get it to 17? He well could. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. If he got it to even 16, I think it's unbreakable.
Well, I think it's unbreakable now, Skip. But for Tom to still be playing at this level, I mean, look, I understand the league is a different era now. But for he's still playing it's not like he's the only one that's playing in this era. Other quarterbacks are playing too, and he's still putting up numbers that's comparable to what these young guys are putting up. So take your hat off. Give him credit now.
We have a bulletin here on Undisputed. Shannon Sharp just said something nice about Tom Brady.
I always say something nice about him.
Never say anything
Yes,
nice.
I do. Yes, I do, Skip.
So congratulations to us.
To us?
Yeah.
We're going to remember this day? A couple compliments. Okay, I'll remember it too.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day. Thanks for watching.